Okay, so this video is going to deal with factorizing ax² plus bx plus c terms and quadratics. So first step when we are doing that is we need to multiply our a term, in this case 2, by the c term, which is 15. So when I do that, that's going to tell me what I need my factors to multiply to. So we're going to multiply to 30. Okay. So they also need to add to my b term. So my b term is that middle term there. So that b term needs to be 13. So I'm going to write out all my factors of 30. Now I know they're going to both be positive because I've got a positive c term and a positive b term. So when I write them, I'm going to have 1 times 30. I'm going to have 2 times 15. And I'm going to have 3 times 10. And 5 times 6. So when I look at those, if I need them to add to 13, I'm going to use 3 and 10. Okay, so that's add to give me 13. Okay, so then I'm going to rewrite my quadratic, splitting up that splitting up that 13x squared, so that it's that 10x and the 3x. So I'm going to group my terms based on their factors. So if I think about 2, I know that 10 is a multiple of 2, whereas it's not going to be a multiple or a factor of 15. So I'm going to put the 10x with the 2x squared. The 3x is going to go with the 15x because I know that 15 is a multiple of 3. That's just going to make my factorizing a bit easier. So when I do that, if I look at the first terms, I've got 2x squared and 10x, so I can take out a 2, because both of those are in the 2's times tables, and an x, because they both have an x term. Then I can multiply to get to 2x squared by 2x. I need to multiply by x, so that x goes here, plus 2x times 10 times 5 is going to give me that 10x, so the 5 is going to go as the second term in my brackets. Then when I look here, I've got 3x and 15, so if I think about my numbers, I'm going to be able to take out a positive 3. And to get from 3 to 3x using multiplication, I've got to multiply by x, and 3 to 15, I need to multiply by 5. Again, I can check and make sure that I've done it right, because at this point my two brackets are going to be the same. If I've done it wrong and my brackets aren't the same, then I probably need to go back a step and look at either my factors, or I need to look at which factor has gone where when I've rewritten my equation. Okay, so that means that my last step is going to be my brackets, 2x plus 3 and x plus 5. And there's my factorized quadratic. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. This next one, we've got 5 and 6. So we're going to multiply, again, that a times that c. That gives us 30. So again, I want my factors to multiply to 30. If I look at my 30 factors, I've already written them out over here. I know they're going to be positives because my b term's positive, as is my c term. Okay, so like we said, we know that the b term and c term are both positive, which means that we are going to have two positive factors. Okay, I'm just going to erase this so we can make it a little bit neater. Okay, so when I do that, okay, the factors I'm going to use are going to be 2 and 15 because those are going to add to give me that 17 that I need. So I'm going to rewrite my quadratic just like I did before. So I've got 5n squared plus 15n. So again, I know that 5 and 15 are multiples, plus 2n plus 6. And again, I'm going to group my terms. Okay, so 5n squared and 15n, I can take out 5 from both of those numbers because they're both in the 5 times tables, and I can take out an n because both of those have an n term. Okay, and that leaves me with n, because 5n times n gives me 5n squared, plus 5n times 3 is going to give me that 15n, that's going to go there. Then when I look here, I've got 2n and 6, so I'm going to take out a plus 2. Leaves me with n plus 3. Again, check and make sure that we've done it correctly. Our brackets match, so we've done it right. So my first bracket's going to be 5n plus 2, and second bracket's going to be n plus 3. Okay, so those were two positives where I had all positive factors and all positive a and b terms. Okay, this one we've got some negative c terms. Now remember, if my c term is negative, that means that my factors need to be both different signs. Okay, so it's going to be a little bit trickier when we do our factors for this one. So same sort of rule is going to apply. We're going to do 3 times minus 7, that gives us minus 21. Okay, and when I write out my factors this time, I'm going to alternate my signs. So I'm going to have 1 times negative 21 and negative 1 times positive 21. I know that it's not in the 2's, but it is in the 3's, so I'm going to have 3 times negative 7 and negative 3 times positive 7. Okay. When I look at my factors, I need them to add to positive 4, which means that this one last down here, minus 3 plus 7, is going to be my correct factors. Okay. Again, I'm going to group my factors by multiples. So if I think about 3, I'm going to keep that 3 with it. So I've got 3x squared minus 3x plus 7x minus 7. Okay. And again, I'm going to group my terms to do my factorizing. So if I look here, I've got 3x squared minus 3x. So I can take a 3 out of both of those, and I can take an x out of both of those. That's going to leave me with x minus 1. And then if I look here, I've got a positive 7x here and a minus 7 here. So I'm going to take out a positive 7 so that my x stays positive. And that leaves me with x minus 1, because I know positive 7 times minus 7, or sorry, minus 1 is going to be minus 7. Okay, and again, my brackets match, which means I've done it properly. The bits outside are going to go in my first bracket, and then what's left over will go in my second. Okay, so that's our first one. Then if we look at our second one, so this one we've got 9 times minus 8, so that's going to give us minus 72. Okay, and that minus 72 we need to add to positive 6. So when I look, I'm going to write out all my factors. Minus 72 minus 1 times 72, 2 times minus 36, minus 2 times 36, 3 times, let's think about that for a second, 14, no, 24. Because 3 times 2 gives us 6, or 3 times 20 gives us 60, plus another 12 gives us the 72. Minus 3 times 24. 4 times 18. And we'll do minus, and then a plus. Not going to be in the 5, 6's. We've got 6 times 12. And negative 6 times 12. Now I can stop at this point, because if I look here, if I've got negative 6 plus 12, that's going to give me that 6y that I'm looking for. So when I look at my factors, I'm going to group the ones that are in a times tables with each other. So if I look at 9y squared, I'm going to group that with the 12, because I know both of those are going to be in the 3's times tables. So I'm going to do 9y squared plus 12y minus 6y minus 8. Okay, and again I'm going to factorize, group my terms. So I can take out 3y here. Okay, and that's going to give me 3y, because 3y times 3y gives me 9y squared plus 4. And then if I look here, I'm going to take out a minus 3, or sorry, a minus 2, because 8's not in the 3's times tables, and that's going to give me y, 3y rather, okay, plus 2, plus 4. Maths isn't super good today. So again, I can check it, make sure that they match, so I'm just going to write it down here a little bit neater. So we've got 3y plus 4, and we've got minus 2, 3y plus 4. Okay, and again, I know that they match, so that means I've done it right. So in my brackets, I've got 3y plus 4, and I've got 3y minus 2. Okay. So hopefully that's helped you with some quadratics when we've got a coefficient in front of the x squared.